everyone, Zeddy here again today with another Showdown in the Badlands card review. And we have a Highlander Paladin Legendary that gives you infinite value in minions. Pretty crazy card, as well as a couple other like control-ish dueling cards, which are pretty cool, and one hunter card that we didn't go over yesterday. And if you want to win some of these cards, we have a giveaway going on for Showdown in the Badlands of 2 regular pre-orders, 2 mega bundles out of my pocket. To enter the giveaway, just like and comment in the video in the description below. Be subscribed to the channel, and if we hit 75,000 subs by the end of BlizzCon, I will add another mega bundle, and we're almost halfway through that next 1,000. So hit that sub button, make me go broke. So first, we're gonna go over the one hunter card we didn't go over yesterday. It was revealed late by Ridiculous Hat, and it is the 10-gallon hat, a 2-mana hunter spell of draw minion. So it's just 2-mana draw minion. However, you give it +1/+1 and death rattle, get a 10-gallon hat, which is this card. So basically, you draw any minion from your deck, it gets a hand buff right away, it dies, you get the 10-gallon hat back in your hand, you can spend 2 mana on it, buff up another minion, it dies, and you know, you can continue until it's silenced or you run out of minions, right? So this can be a really good just kind of way of getting through your deck, of drawing through your deck as Hunter, which doesn't always have the best way of drawing. It's hand buffing effectively. It makes that 3/3 Death Rattle Beast have 4 attack. It gives your Highlander payoff +1 attack to AoE even more. And if you're playing like a Highlander Hunter deck, I'm like, you're automatically gonna want to run a card like this, which cycles through your deck, gives you a hand buff, and it's hitting selected minions, right? It's not just hitting spells, it can hit key cards. Just good draw engine, good hand buff engine. I think it sees play in at least Highlander decks, and maybe possibly just overall. Like, it's kind of similar to that, what was it, the Explorer's Hat that recently got buffed to 1 mana, putting it to shade where you would get the hat back in your hand, you could just buff things up. It's like an old Libram of Wisdom kind of thing. But overall, I think this sees play. I think it's pretty strong. Getting a hand buff, getting that card draw, you know, 2 mana draw minion, give it +1/+1 for 2 mana, really isn't that bad, especially when you can keep doing it over and over and over again until, yeah, like there's a silence or like some type of transform. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 in standard. I think it is that good that you can play it in multiple decks, and in Wild, I'll give it a 3 for, like, I think Reno Hunter would play it. Like, get your Dino Tamer brands, get your Zephyrs, get your Renos more consistently. That certainly doesn't hurt. Or your new Highlander cards, of course. So I think it's a pretty solid Hunter card for sure. Next, we have 3 Paladin cards, starting off with the Showdown, an epic spell, 2 mana. Both players summon 3/3 outlaws, give yours rush. So what a weird one, right? Like, you both get 9/9 in stats, however, you could just trade into theirs. How about that? I mean, I guess as a paladin, you could buff them up a little bit to give yourself a bit of like better trades. You could dilute a res pool possibly for them. Maybe, I don't think, is Sea Giant still in standard? I think it is, where you can like cheat out a big giant Sea Giant. Maybe that meta comes into play. There's other stuff. You could give your stuff Divine Shield. You can make it so yours survive a bit better, but I really don't know what it's going into. Even like, there's only one other card they give with this right away that kind of synergizes with it. We're like, okay, I can cheese out this AoE spell. But overall, it seems like a lot of work for not really a big payoff. And typically in Hearthstone, that's not super strong. So, I mean, you could play it and then have other minions on board trade into stuff, and, you know, but it just doesn't feel super worth it. I love the flavor. I love the art. That's some really cool artwork. But overall, I'm going to give the card a 2 out of 5 in Standard Wild. There's like, again, diluting pools, resummoned pools could be a thing, especially in Wild. There's some validity to this card. I just don't see it being super competitive unless there's like this really, really good combo that at least I'm not seeing yet. And that even factors in, which I think is a really cool card, the Prismatic Beam, a 7 mana paladin spell. Again, no spell school on either of these. Deal 3 damage to all enemies, so that can go face. It costs 1 less for each enemy minion. So I play 2 of these, 2 Showdowns, and then I could play a 1 mana Prismatic Beam, right? That's pretty cool, but it's just kind of cool to see an anti-aggro, control-ish mana cheat AoE, right? Like your opponents, if they got a full board of minions, this costs 0 mana. So you can couple that with an equality, another like a consecration, double prismatic beam, some spell damage. This can do some stuff. And in wild, you can play the mad summoner, summon a full board of 1/1 imps and then prismatic beam, and you got massive tempo, broken. Wild is screwed. It's a mad summoner meta. Probably not, but I just think it's a pretty cool card. I feel like, I don't know, what does control or like these style decks ever get mana cheat? It's so rare. So it's kind of cool to see it. I could see it seeing play in a very token based, like very, you know, minion based meta where things are going wide. Again, maybe you really want to influence it with the Showdown or some other effects like that to the front, or the front lines, that 9-minute spell. Yeah, that fills the board for both sides, and they play Prismatic Beam. Not still probably really bad, but overall I think it's a cool card. I think I could see play in certain control-ish decks, and I just kind of love to see mana cheat for control. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in standard wild for that reason. Insane and odd paladin because it's odd cost, and everything that's odd cost can go, and like this is insane and even paladin, of course, right? That's how it always works. But yeah, I'll give it 3 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in wild, where even though Mad Summoner exists, yeah, it probably doesn't break the meta. But what about the Highlander Legend, which is really cool? A 3 mana, 3/4 undead beast, Spirit of the Badlands. Battle cry: if your deck is no duplicates, get a permanent Mirage. I do not have an English translated token of this card, but we know what it does based on this video, and I went into some discords to see what exactly their translation was. But basically what happens is you play this, you get this Mirage added to your hand, which the turn it's played doesn't do anything. What I believe it does say is at the start of your turn, transform into a copy of a minion in your deck. So basically you'll see them end their turn, the start of their turn. I guess they're running some mechs, and they can get that copy and then play it. The thing is, unlike the pre-spell, once you play it, you can only, that's it for that turn. It turns back into the Mirage. So you can play 1 minion per turn randomly from your deck. It's like a pseudo Shifter Xeris, right? Except it's only for minions that are in your deck, meaning once you're out of minions, this card is useless. And that's about it, right? And again, you can only really do it once per turn, but that could be incredible value. You're running minions that you care about, that you want to play. That could be really solid, especially the Highlander deck. Highlander decks typically run very value-centric minions. You can hit a Titan, you can hit a Colossal. These are like, Titans will not be, you can't generate a Titan, but as a copy of a minion from your deck, as we've seen with like Creation Protocol, it absolutely can. You don't get mana cheat on it or anything like that. It's just pure value. Is that good? I don't know. You could do a pure Highlander Paladin, right? Just only run Paladin cards and do that. But there's probably that neutral card we're going to see at BlizzCon that might, you know, put an end to that idea. But I mean, infinite value, kind of pseudo infinite value on really high impact cards. Like, again, you're getting cards from your deck that just help you be way more consistent at doing what you want to do to win games. It's kind of, we're still waiting to see if like Highlander decks are really going to be nuts, but considering the power level of these payoff cards and likely to be a neutral Reno. A lot of us are thinking a neutral hero card. I think it's just a decent addition that you're going to want to run because, yeah, infinite value, even if it's only 1 minion per turn and not the turn you play this, I think it's still pretty darn good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 in standard. A 3 out of 5 in Wild, where Reno Paladin is certainly a thing. And again, I want another Zeph. I want another Reno. I want cards like that. That sounds really good to me, even if it's just by chance. There really isn't that many bad hits to hit from my minions, and it doesn't cost me anything, and I can just keep doing it over and over until I draw that minion. That seems pretty good. It's just a bit slow and value-centric in a game that struggles with that sometimes. But I think it's a really cool card that we'll likely see play. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. We'll have another Paladin review, I believe, in like 10 or so hours. So I'm going to try and get some sleep until then. We'll see you later. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.